dolls, welcome back to my little Fairytopia Let's Read series. Today I'm up to the second in the series, Mermaidia. Mermaidia is my favourite in the Fairytopia trilogy, and I think I'm willing to wager a bet that it is most people's favourites in the series as well. So I hope you all enjoy this one as much as I do. But before I get into it, I'll just quickly show you the cover. Here's the front and the back, and the pattern we have on the inside of this one is seahorses and bubbles. It's really cool. Okay, let's get into the story. In a beautiful glade with rolling hills, glistening waterfalls, and fields full of vibrant flowers, pixies frolic and fairies play the days away. This is the land of Fairytopia, where everyone is happy. At least that's how it seems. Bibble, the playful puffball, is teasing a group of pixies as his friend the beautiful fairy Alina approaches. "Tag, you're it!" calls Dandelion, starting off a fairy chase. Alina spreads her wings and off she flies, darting around flowers, leaves and branches, and she swoops after Bibble and her fairy friends. No one would guess that not so long ago Alina had been the only fairy without wings. "I don't think anything could make me happier than this," cries Alina, gliding through the sky. "It's the most wonderful feeling, like I'm finally part of things." "And all thanks to the enchantress who gave you those beautiful wings," adds Dandelion. "But do you think the fairies really like me?" asks Alina doubtfully. Before Dandelion has the chance to answer, Bibble flies straight into Alina, knocking them both sideways. "A pink leaf was following me," cries Bibble. Alina thinks he is joking, but then she realizes something really is following Bibble. It's a sea butterfly with pink wings. "Are you Alina?" asks the butterfly. "Nalu, Prince of the Merpeople, sent me to find you. He says you're the only one who can help him." "Nalu's in trouble? But what can I do?" The sea butterfly explains. "The funguses kidnapped Nalu and tied him up. Who knows what they will do to him if he doesn't give them what they want? You have to come to the Crystal Cove and help Nalu. He needs you." "Nalu helped us when we needed him," Alina whispers to Bibble. "Now we can do the same. Come on, Bibble, let's go." Meanwhile, in the Crystal Cove, Prince Nalu is tied to a rock. Laverna, the wicked fairy, instructed her hideous assistants, Max, Fungus 1 and Fungus 2, to capture him. Nalu knows where to find a special berry called the immunity berry. Anyone who eats the berry can instantly resist all magic. Laverna intends to have that berry. Max is watching over Prince Nalu. Suddenly, the medallion around Max's neck starts to swirl. It turns into a screen showing the face of Laverna. "Do you have the prince?" Laverna demands urgently. "We do, and I know just how to make sure he'll take us to the immunity berry," replies Max. "And when I have eaten it, my sister the enchantress will be powerless over me," cackles Laverna. "Just remember, only the royal family knows where the immunity berry grows, so use the prince well." As Laverna's face fades from the screen, Max turns to Nalu. "Take me to the immunity berry," demands Max menacingly. "Never," replies Nalu. Max takes out a vial of dark liquid and holds it over a pool nearby. "Just one drop chokes all the air from the water, killing everything inside," laughs Max triumphantly. Poor Nalu is helpless. "All right," he sighs. "I'll take you to the berry." In another part of the ocean, the sea butterfly leads Alina and Bibble to the Crystal Cove. And while Bibble plays with a friendly turtle, Alina spots a mermaid. She is called Nori, and she too is looking for Nalu. Alina tells Nori that Nalu is in trouble. "Can you help me to find him?" she asks. "No," answers Nori frostily. "I'll find Nalu myself. I don't need some fairy getting in my way." With that, Nori swims away, but Alina is determined to follow her. She asks the turtle to lead them to Mermaidia, and he agrees. giving them some special seaweed that lets them breathe underwater. Meanwhile, Nalu and the three fungus are riding round and round in circles on a huge manta ray, looking for the immunity berry. Suddenly, Max realizes that Nalu has tricked them. "You took us to the carousel of confusion, didn't you? Its hypnotizing waters make people forget what they're doing. Get us out of the water right now!" In the meantime, Alina, Bibble and the turtle are on their way to Mermaidia, but at the entrance to two tunnels the turtle loses his way. He calls into one entrance and a friendly dolphin appears. Alina, Bibble and the turtle follow the dolphin into his tunnel. At the end of the tunnel they reach Mermaidia, where they find Nori asking some merfairies for help. The merfairies are teasing her. "Everyone knows you and Nalu are made for each other," they tease. "He's a prince, remember? I'm not royalty." Bibble is enchanted by the merfairies and quickly makes friends with them. Meanwhile, Nori reluctantly asks Alina for help. There's a great oracle in Mermaidia. Her name is Delphine and she knows everything. The problem is that only the merfairies know where to find her, or even what she looks like. Alina decides to ask the merfairies about Delphine, but they answer with a riddle. "You want to find Delphine? It's not hard to do. Talk to the fairy guide and listen well too. Delphine has a big secret which from you she'll hide. The shell matters not, best heed what's inside." Alina drags Bibble away and repeats the rhyme to Nori. "I know where the fairy guide is," Nori gasps suddenly. "Lead the way," smiles Alina. "Sure," Nori calls as she speeds off through the water. "As long as you can keep up with me." Nori swims fast, but Alina and Bibble fly just as quickly. Up in the air they can see through the crystal clear water. They follow Nori to a dock on the river, where they are met by an amazing sight. The fairy is actually a giant snail. Nori is impatient to complete her mission. "I want to know where Delphine is. It's urgent. We need to find Prince Nalu." Remembering the words of the merfairies, Alina asks politely, "Excuse me, but would you open your shell for us?" All at once the snail starts to sink under the water. As the shell opens, a tiny mermaid appears, sitting on a tiny throne. "Where is Nalu?" Alina asks. But the mermaid's answers make no sense at all. While Nori grows furious, Alina thinks back to the merfairy's rhyme. "This isn't Delphine. The snail is." She realizes and she swims to the snail to ask for help. "So you're looking for Nalu," says the snail thoughtfully. "Then you must prove yourselves. Travel to the depths of despair and seek out the mirror of the mist. But to get there, Alina, you must give up your wings and trade them for a tail." Alina insists that she can swim fast enough as a fairy, but the snail gives her a necklace. "Wish for a tail," she says. "The pearls will turn deep blue, then fade back to white, one at a time. If you're out of the water when the last pearl becomes fully white again, you'll regain your wings. If not, you'll be a mermaid forever." Full of trepidation, Alina and Nori set off towards the depths of despair. Once they are there, Alina struggles to swim in the swirling waters. Nori carries on alone, but through the murky water, Alina can see that Nori is trapped in a huge sea plant. She has no choice but to help her. Alina grips the pearls and whispers, "I wish to trade my wings for a tail." A beam of light shines from the pearls, surrounding Alina. Her wings start to disappear and the light twirls around her legs. When all the pearls are deep blue, her tail is complete. Together, Nori and Alina fight against the plants. Suddenly, on the ocean floor below them, they see a clamshell opening. Inside, something glistens. "The mirror of the mist!" gasped Alina. The shell opens, revealing a beautiful green fish. "Two mermaids at the bottom of the depths of despair," it says. "You must be very brave, or very desperate." "We're looking for Prince Nalu," replies Alina. "As a reward for defying the depths of despair, you can learn anything in the world. And you want to waste the opportunity on Prince Nalu?" "There is nothing more important," answers Alina. In front of their eyes, a picture forms in the mirror. It is of Nalu held captive by the fungus. The fish blows a beautiful bubble that sparkles in the light. Follow it to start you on the right path, he tells them. The bubble floats up and up towards a path dotted with boiling hot geysers. There's no way through, gasps Alina. We could be incinerated. I've done it before, says Nori. You have to watch the eruption patterns, then swim through when they're quiet. Nori darts through, twisting and turning as she swims. Now you, she calls when she reaches the other side. Alina grips Bibble as they swim for their lives. When they reach the other side safely, they are surrounded by bushes laden with berries. Most of the berries have magical powers, Nori explains. Eat that one and you can only speak backwards. Alina is looking at a bush of huge golden berries. Those berries reveal your true self, Nori continues. Are there any love potion berries? Asks Alina. You could give one to Nalu. You're in love with him, aren't you? Just then, Nori notices a cave. They swim through it to discover an underground cavern. Inside, they find Nalu at last. While Bibble distracts the fungus, Alina and Nori are able to untie the astonished prince. Now we need to get you out of here, says Nori as they all slip under the water. But just as they are about to make their escape, Max appears, holding the immunity berry. Nalu darts out of the water and shocks Max into dropping the berry. Quick as a flash, Bibble zooms down and catches it. The fungus scrambled towards Bibble, and in the confusion, the berry falls into the water. Alina quickly grabs the berry, but soon everyone is chasing after it. Remember the berry you showed me? Alina asks Nori urgently. She has an idea. Alina holds on to the immunity berry as she swims out of the seaweed tunnel. But not for long. The fungus have almost reached her when she notices her necklace. Only one of the pearls is still blue. She has to get out of the water or lose her precious wings forever. Still clutching the berry, Alina swims to the surface. A dazzling light wraps itself around her. As her tail starts to disappear, her wings slowly reappear. She flies up to a rocky crag above the water. I did it! Cries Alina. But someone has reached the crag before her. And now you have a choice, Max sneers. Give me the berry or I'll drop the poison into the water and kill all of Mermaidia. Horrified, Alina hands over the berry. But Max still drops the vial over the edge of the crag, and as it tumbles towards the water, he scrambles away with the berry. Alina flies down as fast as she can, catching the vial just in time. But as she hits the water, the last pearl on her necklace turns white. With a brilliant flash of light, her wings turn into a tail. There are no words to thank you, says Nalu. But the fungus got away with the berry. Alina and I switched the berries, says Nori proudly. The berry that reveals your true identity looks very like the immunity berry. Mermadia is saved, but Alina is desperate. My wings are gone. I'm not going home. Ever. I have an idea, says Nori as she leads Alina to the golden berries. They reveal your true nature, she says. I believe your true nature hasn't changed. Alina eats the berry and immediately turns into a fairy again, with wings even more beautiful than before. Meanwhile, in the bogs of the hinterlands, Max is presenting the berry to Laverna. The immunity berry! Gasped the wicked fairy. Remember this moment, Max, as you watch me come into my destiny. Laverna eats the berry greedily, and a strange transformation takes place. She turns into a toad. Is this what invulnerability feels like? Asks Laverna, as a horrified Max starts backing away. Suddenly, Laverna glimpses her reflection in the bog. She quickly turns on Max. You fool! You gave me the wrong berry! We were sure it was the right berry. We battled them for it, says Max. Them? Questions Laverna. Them, answers Max. Nalu and his mermaid friend, and that fairy, the one we've met before, Alina. Alina? It can't be, screams Laverna, beside herself with rage. I'll get you, Alina, if it's the last thing I do. When Alina and Bibble land back in Fairytopia, her fairy friends are very relieved to see them. We're so glad you're back, says one. We were so worried about you, adds another. I want to hear all about it, says Dandelion. But I think we have just enough time for a game of tag before dark. Up for it? Yes, says Alina, sounding disappointed. But I thought everyone would be excited about my new wings. We're just happy to see you safe, the fairies say. We weren't paying attention to your wings. Ready for tag? Says Alina, beaming with delight. All at once, a flurry of fairies dart through the magic meadow. Alina loves her new wings, but knowing that her fairy friends truly care for and accept her has made Alina happier than ever. And that's the end of Barbie Mermaidia. Thank you all so much for watching this one. I hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't yet, feel free to check out my Let's Read of Fairytopia, and stay tuned for the next video, which will be, of course, Magic of the Rainbow. Peace!